creamy, luxurious, golden like sunlight. Today, we're exploring a dish that is, honestly, the very definition of elegant comfort food. We are breaking down risotto alla Milanese. It's this culinary masterpiece that costs literally just a few dollars per serving to make at home, yet it's so spectacular that it put the city of Milan on the culinary map. Let's uncover how it all came to be.
So what if I told you that one of Italy's most famous, refined dishes was actually invented entirely by accident? Yeah, no way, right? But according to local legend, back in the 1500s, there was this stained glass artist working in Milan who used an incredibly bright yellow spice to dye the magnificent windows of a church. Well, during a wedding celebration, someone decided to play a prank. They jokingly took that very same highly expensive church window dye and just dumped it right into a pot of ordinary rice. The result? It wasn't a ruined meal at all. It was a golden dish so beautiful and so delicious that it became the signature food of Milan.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the accidental golden masterpiece. Then, anatomy of the dish. Next, the risotto process. After that, the magic of mantecatura. And finally, tasting history.
All right, Section 1, the accidental golden masterpiece. Our story really revolves around this guy named Valerio di Fiandra. He was a stained glass apprentice working on the magnificent windows of the Milan Cathedral, and Valerio had this secret weapon for his art. He frequently used saffron to create those incredibly vibrant, luminous golden colors in the glass. Now, his friends relentlessly teased him about his obsession with using saffron for literally everything. And you know, that endless teasing, that's exactly what set the stage for our famous culinary accident.
Let's look at how this unfolded. In the late 1500s, Valerio is working on those cathedral windows. Then comes the wedding feast. To poke fun at Valerio, someone actually tosses his precious saffron into the plain rice dish being served. It was meant to be a joke, a total prank. But instead of ruining the food, the saffron completely transformed the rice into a stunning, aromatic golden masterpiece. Now, whether every single detail of this legend is completely true or not, the dish became deeply, deeply connected to Milan and the Lombardy region. Over the centuries, it evolved into one of Italy's most celebrated dishes, often served alongside ossobuco, which is another amazing Milanese specialty, by the way. And today, restaurants all around the world charge premium prices for it.
And why do they charge those premium prices? Well, because of what we call red gold. That dye used by Valerio is saffron. It's harvested completely by hand, thread by delicate thread, making it one of the most expensive and valuable spices on earth. Yet it only takes a tiny, tiny pinch of this red gold to transform our humble $3 plate of rice into absolute magic.
Moving right along to Section 2, anatomy of the dish. Let's get into the kitchen.
To serve 4 people, here's your master ingredient list. For the core ingredients, you're going to need 320 grams of arborio or carnaroli rice, 1 liter of warm chicken or vegetable stock, and 1 small finely diced onion. Now for the flavor makers. Grab 60 grams of unsalted butter, 50 grams of grated Parmesan cheese, 100 milliliters of dry white wine, our star ingredient, 1 large pinch of saffron threads, plus some salt and black pepper to taste. Notice how incredibly simple this list is? There are absolutely no overly complicated or artificial ingredients here. But to elevate this simple list, well, that requires pure patience and some strict technique.
Which brings us to Section 3, the risotto process.
Now, what's really interesting here is that our very first step doesn't even involve the stove. Step 1 is to infuse the saffron. Place your large pinch of saffron threads into a small bowl and add 2 tablespoons of warm water. You've got to allow them to steep for at least 15 minutes. As they soak, you'll see the water slowly turn this deep, rich, golden yellow. This infusion is quite literally the heart of the dish.
Okay, now we build our foundation on the stove. Step 1, heat your stock in a saucepan and keep it warm over low heat. Listen to me on this, never, ever add cold stock to risotto. Warm stock helps the rice cook evenly and release its starch gradually. Step 2, in a large pan, melt half of your butter and cook your finely diced onion gently over medium-low heat for about 5 minutes. You want it soft and translucent, definitely not browned. Step 3, add your arborio or carnaroli rice. Toast it by stirring continuously for 2 to 3 minutes until every single grain is lightly coated with butter. This develops the flavor and protects the texture. And step 4, pour in that white wine, stir it continuously, and let the alcohol evaporate completely so the rice absorbs that incredible depth of flavor.
From here, we settle into the true risotto rhythm. Add your warm stock, just one ladle at a time. You're going to stir gently but frequently, waiting for the liquid to be absorbed before adding the next ladle. Patience is the absolute secret here, guys, because this slow process allows the rice to gradually release its starches, naturally creating that signature creamy texture. Then, right at the 12-minute mark of cooking, pour in your golden saffron infusion. The transformation is just beautiful as the rice turns that iconic yellow. Keep ladling and stirring for a total of 18 to 20 minutes until the rice is tender but still slightly firm in the center. Two massive pro tips to remember here. Never rinse your risotto rice before cooking or you'll wash away the vital starches you desperately need. And always keep that stock warm throughout the whole process.
All right, we're almost there. Section 4. The magic of mantecature.
So, the crucial point here is a technique called mantecatura. This means completely removing the pan from the heat. That part is absolutely vital. Then you add your remaining butter and 50 grams of grated Parmesan cheese, and you stir vigorously. This traditional Italian technique binds the remaining starches, the fat from the butter, and the melting cheese into an incredibly luxurious, silky, flowing consistency. It shouldn't be a stiff mound on your plate, it should relax and flow. That is the magic of mantecatura.
Finally, Section 5. Tasting history.
When you spoon this into a warm bowl, it should gently spread across the plate. Not too thick, not too runny. The aroma hits you first, right? Warm butter, nutty Parmesan, and those delicate, slightly floral notes of saffron. And the texture? It's creamy and luxurious. But here's the craziest part. There is absolutely no cream in this dish at all. It's rich, yet surprisingly delicate. Every single spoonful is a perfect balance of savoriness and vibrant color. It is so easy to understand why such a simple dish became one of Italy's greatest culinary treasures.
So, from a 16th century waiting day prank to one of the world's most celebrated dishes, risotto alla Milanese proves that true culinary perfection often comes from the most unexpected moments. Just a handful of rice, a pinch of red gold, and centuries of tradition. I really hope you feel empowered to try this technique in your own kitchen. If you enjoy this explainer, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell us, what famous dish should we explore next? Keep exploring, keep cooking, and thanks for joining me today.